The students, we have been busy with a drama, Act 4, Scene 1. Before the exam, we had started and did a bit of it. The explanation Shylock gives why he cannot show mercy to Antonio, or why Antonio is treated harshly by Shylock is explained. That we have seen before the exam. Then during the online live classes, we have seen how Antonio replies to this when Bassanio was trying to plead mercy from Shylock. Antonio says it is of no use pleading for mercy because he may do so many impossible things like asking the waves in the sea to reduce its height, or he may ask a pine tree not to shake its head in the wind, or he may ask even the wolf explanation for killing the lamb and why to make the female sheep to cry. Even if you do all these things and do much greater or difficult things, you may succeed, but you will not succeed in making Shylock benevolent, kind. That is, Shylock, you cannot make Shylock merciful anymore. Therefore, don't waste your time pleading for mercy. Let me face the judgment, and whatever may be the judgment, I am ready to yield to it. That is where we stopped. Then now Bassanio makes an attempt again, saying that he will pay something more. Bassanio says, for thy 3,000 ducats, here is 6. I will pay double. Instead of 3,000 ducats, I will pay double the amount. That is 6,000 ducats. So Shylock replies saying that no, even if you pay 6 times the prime amount, 6 times the principal amount, that is 3,000 into 6, even then I don't want the money, I want only justice. I want the bond to be executed. Then you'll find the Duke talking. He says, how shalt thou hope for mercy, rendering none? You are not merciful to others. If you are not ready to show mercy to others, how do you expect others to show mercy to you? How do you expect me to show mercy? How do you expect God to show mercy to you? Shylock, what judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? You have among you many a purchased slave, which, like your asses and your dogs and mules, you use in abject and in slavish parts, because you bought them. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs. They sweat. Why sweat they under burdens? So, here Shylock is trying to plead to them, saying, speaking about masters, rich people, he is addressing the counselors and all those respected people, noblemen who are present, and he says, suppose you have slaves. On the one hand, slaves are there, animals are there, and the children, your children are there. Now what happens? Slaves are bought with money. Those days slave trade was allowed. People could be bought and sold. So slaves are there. Slaves are treated like animals. Animals like asses, that is donkey. Mule is a crossbreed between donkey and horse, and dogs. So like asses, mule and dogs, slaves were treated. So now he says, why don't you treat them differently? You are treating them like animals. I make a request, why don't you treat them like your children? Your children are being taken care of so well. They do not do much work. They don't sweat under the sun. They have comfortable beds to sleep on, and they get very good food. So why don't you treat these slaves like your children? Give them good food. We give them comfortable beds to sleep on. And why don't you marry your children to slaves? Your sons will marry the daughters of slaves, and your daughters will marry sons of slaves. Why don't you do that? But you will not do it. You will say that we cannot do it because we have bought them. We have spent money and bought. I also say that I have bought this for future, this penalty with money. So that's what the gist of it. Let's look at it. You have among you many a purchased slave, which, like your asses and your dogs and mules, you use in abject and in slavish parts. That is very mean way of treating them and making them to do hard jobs. Because you bought them. What's the reason? Because you have bought them, you have spent money. Shall I say to you, let them be free, marry them to your heirs. Heirs means the children. Why sweat they under burdens? Why should they do heavy works? Let their beds be made as soft as yours, and let their palate is the top of the roof of the mouth. In your mouth, the tongue is there, above the tongue, the roof of the mouth is called palate. That gives you taste. Taste buds are there on the tongue, and it's the palate, the roof of the mouth, that helps you to taste well. So, let their palates be seasoned with such viands. Viands are good food items. That means simply say, give them very good food. Your children are eating very good food. Why don't you give them also good food? Let the slaves also taste and enjoy. Be seasoned with such viands. You will answer, the slaves are ours. So if I ask you to do that one, what will you say? No. The slaves are ours. So do I answer you, the pound of flesh which I demand of him is dearly bought. You are saying that is, we have a right to do as we like because we have bought them. We have spent money on them. And I tell you, I have a right for a pound of flesh because I have bought it with a lot of cost. Dearly means costly. Spending lot of money. How much money did Shylock spend? 3,000 ducats and the interest of it. So, I have spent lot of money and I have bought it. Therefore, I have the right to have it. It's mine and I will have it. If you deny me, fie upon your law. It is mine. I have every right to have a pound of flesh. If you say no, we will not give you a pound of flesh, that means you are denying justice to me. Shame upon your law. Fie upon your law means shame upon your law. There is no force in the decrees of Venice. Decrees is rules and regulations of Venice. There is no force. Nobody can be forced to keep them away from justice. Everybody has a right to have justice, and I am demanding only what is my right. I stand for judgment. Answer, shall I have it? What do you say? Duke and others, what do you say? Shall I have the justice? Will you implement it? And I will have the penalty, a pound of flesh. Duke, upon my power I may dismiss this court unless Bellario, a learned doctor, whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today. So then Duke does not reply to Shylock. He does not say that I shall grant what you are asking for, or you have a right to have this justice. He did not say. He simply says that upon my power I may dismiss this court unless Bellario, a learned doctor whom I have sent for to determine this, come here today. So here comes Bellario. So we are already familiar with Bellario. You remember Portia sending Balthasar to Bellario to get some legal points, also get some help from him, like a closed dress of a lawyer and dress of a lawyer's clerk, etc. So now Duke says, upon my power I may dismiss this court. I have the power to dismiss this court now, unless I have asked Bellario to come and assist me, to give me a proper judgment. If he comes, it's okay. If he does not come, I will dismiss the court now. Salerio, my lord, here stays without a messenger with letters from the doctor, new come from Padua. So now Salerio informs that the doctor is already there. My lord, here stays without means continuing to stay or staying for long time. That means already he is waiting there for long time. He has come much early. A messenger with letters from the doctor. The new come from Padua. New come means just come from Padua. So my lord, there is a messenger standing here. He is there for long time standing there. Yes, just come from Padua. There's a message from Dr. Bellario. Duke, bring us the letters, call the messenger. So the Duke commands to call the messenger and bring the letter so that he can read the content of it. Bassanio, good cheer. Antonio, what man? Courage yet. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all, ere thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood. So now Bassanio is making a bold statement. Already Antonio told Bassanio not to worry about him, because Shylock will not show mercy, leave him aside. But now when Duke says, please get the messenger and the message. Meanwhile, Bassanio becomes very active. He spontaneously comes out because he feels for his friend. It's because of him. For his need, Antonio has to suffer. So he makes a statement, good cheer, Antonio. That means, good cheer means, have courage. Have courage. So, why do you want to lose heart? Nothing will happen. What man? Courage yet. The Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all, ere thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood. Ere means before. E-R-E, ere. Ere means before. Ere. E-R-E, ere means before. So before the Jew shall have my flesh. That means Antonio is told by Bassanio, I will volunteer to give myself as the penalty. You shall not. You will be saved, because it is for my sake you bought the money. So, the Jew shall have my flesh, blood, bones and all. It's just naming everything. That is entire self. Ere before thou shalt lose for me one drop of blood. Even before you are losing one drop of blood for me, I shall sacrifice myself completely for this cause. Antonio, I am a tainted wether of the flock, me dust for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground, and so let me. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write mine epitaph. Very important passage. Questions have been asked earlier, and very sad tone. Very sad tone is there. Antonio says, I am a tainted wether of the flock. Tainted wether means diseased ram. I told you in the class last day, RAM. Ram means male sheep. Male sheep is called ram. What is a female sheep called? Ewe. We saw last day when Antonio was speaking about the three possibilities. There he was speaking about ewe. E-W-E, ewe. Pronounced as ewe, E-W-E. So this is a male sheep is called ram. A tainted wether of the flock. Tainted wether of the flock means diseased man. Diseased ram of the flock. F-L-O-C-K. Flock means a group of sheep. A group of sheep is called flock. So I am the tainted wether. That is a diseased ram. Diseased means one who is sick. One who is not well. One who is unwell. So the sick ram of the flock. I am the weakest in the flock. So the weakest will face all the difficulties first. So I am the tainted wether of the flock, meetest for death. I am fit for what? I am fit for death. Meetest means suitable. Suitable for death. The weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground. If there are so many fruits in a tree, for example, a mango tree, which one will fall first? The weakest one. So the weakest kind of fruit drops earliest to the ground, and so let me. I am the weakest in the flock now. I am the sick member of the flock. So let me fall. Let me be the first one to fall. You are a strong man. You are not weak. You remain. I shall go. And so let me. You cannot better be employed, Bassanio. You cannot better be employed. Employed means occupied. Bassanio, than to live still. You cannot replace me. You cannot replace me. You have to live on, live still, and write mine epitaph. 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 T-A-P-H. Epitaph is the inscription that you write on the tomb. You die and you are buried, and on the stone which is used to cover the top of the grave, on that people write things when they are born, when they died, their name and their address, and some catchy words which they would like to convey. What they'd like to convey. Here lies so and so. Then they give a beautiful quotation. Here lies so and so who sacrificed his life for the people. Here lies someone who has seen the world differently, whatever it may be. That is called epitaph. Epitaph is an inscription on the grave. So you remain, you must continue. I am the weakest one, I shall die first. You remain and write epitaph, write some beautiful sentence on my tomb. Enter Nerissa dressed like a lawyer's clerk. We will stop here. So today we have seen how the Duke is, how Shylock is trying to argue with the Duke and other members of the court, giving the example of the slave. And animals. Slaves are made to work like animals, and he makes a comparison with the children of masters. Why don't he make them equal? They will not make them equal because they have bought them with a lot of money and they have a right to take the decision. He concludes saying that I also got this penalty because I have spent from my pocket. So I have every right to have this penalty, a pound of flesh. Then the Duke says, I have the right to dismiss this court unless Dr. Bellario comes to settle the issue as a lawyer. Then it's reported that a messenger has come from Padua from Dr. Bellario. So Duke asked the people to bring in the messenger and bring the letter to him. Meanwhile, Bassanio tries to console Antonio, saying that I shall sacrifice myself before you shed even a drop of blood. To that, Antonio replies saying, no, I am the deceased lamb. I am the deceased one in the flock. That is, the sick member in the flock of sheep. I should die first. I am like a fruit which is weak. The weakened fruit should fall first. So let me die. You live. You stay on, but you write the epitaph. Epitaph. That's the inscription on my tomb. Something very beautiful. You write whatever. You have experienced of me. So that is the close friendship between Bassanio and Antonio. Thank you.